You're tuning into It's Great to Meet You. In this episode, we'll talk with Courtney Dufford, lead organizer for AMOS. We'll learn about the work of building up an organizing agenda by listening to the people, and we'll reimagine New Year's celebrations for introverts. Enjoy the show. It's Great to Meet You is a production of the First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. At First Unitarian, we love radically, grow ethically and spiritually, and serve justly. Unitarian Universalism is a pluralistic religious tradition, meaning we don't have a dogmatic statement of belief. Rather, we covenant with one another to put love at the center of our actions. We recognize the inherent worth and dignity of everyone and our interconnectedness with one another. And so our justice work seeks to affirm that worth for all people. If you think all people should be able to flourish and you believe your spiritual journey is less about dogma and more about how you treat one another in the world, you might be a UU. Let's get to the show. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me on It's Great to Meet You, the show where we meet the good people of Des Moines out there doing the good work. I'm your host, the Reverend Steve Seek, and I serve as the minister at First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. Today, we're talking with Courtney Dufford, the lead organizer of AMOS, a Mid-Iowa organizing strategy. Courtney, it's great to meet you.
Likewise, great to meet you.
Tell us about your work with AMOS.
So AMOS is a community organizing group. We are an organization of organizations. So we have 40 member organizations, churches, including First Unitarian, nonprofits, neighborhood groups, associations, any organizations where people are organized around their own growth and development and to act on their mission in the world can be part of AMOS. And we operate under an iterative organizing strategy. So that means that we do the same habits and practices, sometimes over and over and over again, because the issues impacting people in their communities are constantly changing. So we start by listening to understand what's going on, what's facing families today. Then we move into a phase of research to figure out, okay, we know the big problems coming at families. What's winnable? How do we take a bite out of the elephant? And then we move into action with decision makers. Sometimes that's elected officials at the city or county level. Sometimes that's business leaders. Sometimes it's a combination, but organizing people power to change the way systems are functioning so that they work better for everyone, particularly those on the margins of our community.
So I'm hearing that in the sort of the ecosystem of work to make Des Moines and Iowa better, you're not focused on the issue of water in Iowa. It's a process.
Exactly.
Process around what are the issues that are rising among the people, and then let's organize together on that. Can you say more about that?
Yeah, so AMOS has been around. We're celebrating our 30th year this year. And in those 30 years, the issues that have been impacting people in Des Moines and Ames and Ankeny and throughout central Iowa have included everything from flooding infrastructure, making sure that homes no longer flood with sewage every time it rains, helping to build the country's largest skate park because youth at Grace United Methodist were tired of getting kicked off of places they shouldn't have been skateboarding and had a vision for a really good skate park that would be an economic draw for this community. Creating new children's crisis mental health systems that worked both for white families and also, frankly, families of color who had been disproportionately impacted by the justice system when reaching out to help their kids in crisis. And then work around restorative justice so that youth are not being funneled into the school to prison pipeline, but have opportunities to flourish. So all kinds of different issues that emerge, but all of which start by asking citizens in their democracy to use their own lived experience to inform what they want their communities to look like. And I'm going to say trusting that citizens have values and agency to make their communities better, not in isolation, but when we work together across our different communities to make our community stronger for everyone.
So I think this is a really helpful distinction for the listener then, because I think many of the other folks that we've heard in conversation have a focus. We're going to help women who are struggling to get the resources they need at the bridge, for example. And this is a grassroots from the ground up. This is what is on our collective hearts and minds. And we're going to work in collaboration to affect these changes in 911 mental health responses or public spaces for youth. Am I hearing that right?
That's right. Yeah. We say AMOS's mission is twofold. So, one, it's building an organization that has the capacity, or we use the language of power, relational power, to be able to operate on the things that are impacting families, which allows us to change systems. So, that's one piece, that we're about building relational power in our communities. And then the second aspect is we talk about our work as a university of public life. So, a space where adults can learn with one another about how to be effective as citizens and public people, and to do that work by practicing politics, not kind of the politics that we often see on the TV and being practiced nationally, but a politics that's rooted in listening and relationship and the dirty word of compromise, and negotiation about how do we find a way forward around the things that really matter to us, and that ordinary people are invited to do that work.
Well, and I think that's particularly salient in the moment that we're in right now in American democracy, that when you look at the organizations that are members of AMOS, they don't agree theologically, they don't agree often politically, but they do agree that we're stronger together when we're all listening to one another and talking. Do you see AMOS's role in a sharper focus right now, given the political climate?
I think so. As I've talked to people, over the last week and months and years, I think people are really hungry to be able to act on their democracy, right? To see that they have a role to play, that we're not just passive in the face of elected officials and, a very powerful federal government who are doing things for us, but that we have a role and a responsibility and a right to participate in our community. So I think people are hungry for it, but I think it's really very intimidating to take that on by yourself. And so part of AMOS's strategy is that we do organize people in organizations, because there's power in numbers, there's power in organizations. And so we're trying to have some capacity to take on some of these big pressures rather than organizing one or two people at a time. AMOS represents over 10,000 families in central Iowa. And that gives us the ability to make changes over time.
And through the orientation of process, through the orientation of getting together in small group meetings and hearing one another and sharing out our values and reflections.
Yep, exactly.
So how can the Des Moines community help you in this work?
Well, if people have imagination about what it would make their community better, whether that's, I've done work with schools that want to see the process of drop off and pickup be smoother, whether it's things that are very local and specific to your neighborhood, whether that's making sure that you have systems that are providing healthcare and mental health services that are working for you and the people that you care about. If you're interested in building relationships with people who you may not otherwise know, and building connections across ties that, there are lots of opportunities to get involved in AMOS around those things that you care about. So we have several big meetings coming up within AMOS in February 15th. Plymouth United Church of Christ is going to be hosting our big delegate assembly, where we're going to be launching a listening campaign. People are welcome to come and participate in that and talk with one another about what's getting in the way of safety and happiness for the people that they care about, and have their voice be heard and to be invited into being involved in this process. And then we're going to be doing a campaign of listening this spring to begin to build towards a larger event this August. So people are welcome to come and jump into that process. We're starting at the beginning of the organizing cycle, and what we do over the coming months will inform AMOS's priorities over the months and years to come.
So just lifting up the sort of process-oriented organization versus we tackle acts. The way that we get involved is by sharing our voices.
Exactly.
And I'll put a link, listeners, to how to find the February 15th event at Plymouth in this podcast. Yeah. And now we'll go to a speed round. This is an opportunity for the listener to get to know Courtney Dufford a little bit better. What is your favorite place to eat in Des Moines?
There is a very good Mexican food shop by my house on the east side called Las Papas, and I would recommend their vegetarian burrito over all of the other vegetarian burritos I've had in Des Moines.
Where's your favorite place to go outdoors in Des Moines?
This is not in Des Moines, but Ledges State Park, northwest of Des Moines is my favorite.
Okay, how far out is that actually?
Oh, it's a good question. 45 minutes, 50 minutes?
Oh, I could make that. Okay. All right. Where's your favorite
You can
place?
and you should.
It's shown up on my searches for state parks, but I needed an endorsement and I just got it. Thank you.
Go in the spring when the wildflowers are blooming. That just is a great place to see the spring wildflowers.
Where's your favorite indoor place to go?
Indoor place. I'm kind of an outdoor place person. Probably eating food. So that there's a good Thai restaurant on the east side, Thai Flavors. Actually, no, I think I've gotten into rock climbing. So I'm going to say the Grimes Rock Climbing Gym on the kind of northwest side of town is a really great resource in this community.
Nice.
If you want to get into rock climbing.
I tried it once and had horrible tendonitis, so you probably need to ease your way into it. Yeah. Do you have a favorite grocery store? I'm still unsettled in Des Moines.
I just spent some time getting Middle Eastern food from Halal Grocery, kind of by the Drake neighborhood. Or Fresh Time is my go-to if I want produce and to stock up, kind of in the Western Metro.
Excellent. Do you have a preference for the Cyclones, Hawkeyes, Bulldogs, Panthers, etc.?
I do not.
No.
I am a sports agnostic.
We welcome all kinds.
Thank you.
We have a question from the kids. We have a pretty heavy one and we have a pretty silly one. What's your vibe right now?
Bring it on.
Okay. Where do people go when they die?
Where do people go when they die? My grandpa just died this last year, and I like to think that thank you, that he lives on in me and my family and the stories that I get to tell about him. So I think people's bodies go into the earth, but I think they live on in stories and memories that we share as often as we want to.
Amen. Okay, here's a challenge from the staff. Can you create a new holiday and describe how people would celebrate it?
New holiday.
I think this is in line with Festivus, for example.
My sister and I have taken to celebrating New Year's every year with a New Year's introverts retreat, and I would highly recommend it to everyone. It's where you celebrate the New Year's with a small group of close friends and or family. You play games, you play in the snow if you are lucky to have snow. You play board games, you read in silence with 5 other people sitting in the same room as you, and you eat good food and kind of go into the new year with a recharged energy and spirit.
I'm there for that. And finally, Courtney, is there anything you would like to promote? What can our listeners be looking forward to from AMOS in the next few months?
We would love to welcome you to come to our We the People convention, mark August 30th, 3 p.m. on your calendars at the Horizon Event Center in Clive. We want to organize 1,000 people coming together around an agenda of issues that represents we the people. And so to stand there together with candidates for office responding to our agenda. And as we move into the fall election season, that those candidates are responding to what we, the people, want to see in our local communities and in our state. And we'd love to have, 50 to 100 folks from First Unitarian standing strong in the room, along with 40 or more other community organizations.
So I'm hearing that this process begins February 15th with a delegate meeting that all are invited to at Plymouth, and that through all of these listening cottage meetings between February to August, we will, as a process, AMOS will distill the issues that are prominent in the hearts of mid-Iowa citizens, and that will arrive on August 30th with a central event, hopefully with elected officials to hear from the people. This is what's actually on our minds. Am I reflecting that?
That's correct. And not just hearing, but saying, if you get elected, will you commit to work with us to do something about these concerns? And so we're working towards that August convention, but we know that in many ways that convention is just the beginning of get out the vote efforts and accountability with whomever gets elected to make sure that our government is working for us, the people.
Well, Courtney, it is so great to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for the opportunity.
And that does it for us today. Thank you all for joining us, and keep doing the good work, Des Moines.